Hi, Carolyn. Thanks for joining me.
Hi.
Zooming in from wherever you are in the USA.
Oh, I'm in Salem, Massachusetts.
Uh-huh. And I'm in Hurghada, Egypt, by the Red Sea. I've been thinking about and planning a sort of a workshop on EMO, energy and motion, for transforming our emotional energy. So I wanted to have a chat because you've done the EMO practitioner, so you're kind of versed in the process that we do
hmm
to help release the stress and the painful emotions and transform it actually
hmm
into a positive emotion instead. So, have you been using it out of interest?
I do use it.
Hmm.
Interestingly enough, just recently, I've been using it for a while, but I've been using it because I was taught it, you know, and then you go through the steps and you go through what you're supposed to be doing and how it works. But as of lately, it's really been clicking, you know, especially after doing the star matrix and starline therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, I finally found that aha moment when I see where one fits, the next fits, and then the next modality, right?
Yeah.
So the emo is really about when I feel, if I can give an example, like last week, for example, it's like everything I touched went wrong. Like nothing was going right. And I was driving home. And sometimes, even as practitioners, we forget the tools, right? And I'm driving home, and I look up to the sky and I go, like, what is going on with me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is happening here? And then all of a sudden I went, you know what? No, I'm going to emo this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move this right out of my being, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And it was so wild because I went, I focused on what I was feeling. And I literally say in my mind, right, I'm going to soften and flow. Can this soften and flow? Can I let this soften and flow? And then all of a sudden, I feel it travel down,
Through the
you
body.
know,
Yeah.
through the body. And it's almost like when you have that junk drawer at home, you have all that stuff stuck, and you go to open the drawer and it's stuck. And then you finally get it open and you decide you're going to clean this out and you get it all out. And then you make space for like really something else to come in. So I can actually feel that when it shifts in me now
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to explain. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Awesome. There's
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
movement of the waves of life, the energy waves of life
Uh-huh.
that's coming to us that we're meeting. That the thing that emo gave me was the awareness that emotions
hmm
aren't random. They're not like disconnected from each other. They're about how we are handling the energies of life in us and through
hmm
us. There's a movement of energy.
hmm
And when you feel that and you feel
Yeah, you
it
can feel
moving,
the
it
shift.
feels
Yeah.
amazing to
hmm
feel your emotion
Uh-huh.
moving through your
hmm
body and releasing. So, what I want you to do, I've got a workshop coming up, which is about handling incoming energies. And it's interesting because people, obviously, a lot of people, we struggle with judgment and criticism.
hmm
Ouch, and put that back.
Trigger alert.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But also, interestingly, people struggle with compliments and praise, don't they? And
Very true.
And there's like, oh no, oh no, oh, I feel embarrassed, or oh, I'm all watering up now because of like you saying that it's touched my heart, and those circuits have not been used for a long time, or whatever it is.
hmm
And so we're struggling with this incoming energy, and it triggers our emotions. And so I wanted to, I don't know if which one of those you see in yourself is more. Are you more sensitive and reactive to judgments and criticisms, or actually compliments and praise?
I, Me personally, I'm definitely more reactive to criticism.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I will admit that. I've learned through practice to accept the compliments. That was a
Uh,
work in progress for me over the years to
yes.
really be with that and be open to receive that,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think, right now that you're bringing this up, that it took so much for me consciously to be able to allow that in,
Mm-hmm.
that I think that when somebody criticizes me, that's actually the trigger. It's
Uh-huh.
like I've done so much work to allow myself
How can
to
you think I
accept.
can be like that when I've done all
Yeah,
this work on myself? Yeah, just like how
yeah,
I can't believe
yeah.
it, So it's like a shock response.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
a shock response.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So that's interesting. But it was interesting
Yes.
about watching energy moving
Hmm.
into us, through us, and how we
Hmm.
respond to it. And the other interesting thing, like whether it's compliments or judgments, is
Hmm.
that, well, when you can handle them, what happens? So you've worked at learning how to handle appreciation and compliments. Where does that bring you? What does it bring you into the emotions of?
Well, it brings me into I feel empowered. I feel like my confident self.
Yeah.
And I actually feel really authentic and aligned
Yes. Yes.
because I do know that to be my truth, you
Yes.
know?
So there's two things there.
Yeah.
There's the
Mm,
more energy that is able to flow through
mm,
you, that feels good because positive emotions are flowing and they feel good.
mm.
The more energy that flows, the more we become that energy. So you've just described that I'm into alignment of what I believe about myself. So I believe
Mm-hmm.
I've handled it, accepted it, and let it go. Because
Mm-hmm.
people kind of have a worry about, oh, won't I get big-headed and arrogant or whatever if I'm taking in all these compliments. But actually, it's the letting it go so it comes in, flows through, and out again. And people don't
Right.
always have this
Mm-hmm.
awareness of letting the positive energies and emotions flow through and out. Why on earth would you ever want to let go of
Mm-hmm.
a positive feeling? And so actually, I say to people, well, do you want a nice feeling or do you want an amazing feeling? Well, they say, well, obviously I want an amazing feeling. Well, nice is,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I just feel nice here. And
Mm-hmm.
amazing is it's flowing all over my body. So something's got
True.
to go from nice to amazing. Energy has to flow. And then the holding on, like even some people
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I can't let it go because it just feels too good. And I don't, why should I let it go?
Yeah.
And that holding it on is like a blockage. You're creating a
Mm-hmm.
blockage, even with something
Mm-hmm.
good. And I tell you, like, if I actually, a little story came to me. I hope I can tell it quickly. Years ago, in the days of the old phones, the old little Nokia phones, remember that it
Mm-hmm.
used to be limited how many text messages that you could actually hold in your phone, and you had to
Uh-huh. Yeah.
delete the ones once it got full in order that the new ones could come in. And I'd saved up the love messages from this old boyfriend, and
Mm-hmm.
and then I remember then when new ones were coming in, I was thinking, which one of these can I release? There's all these like little gold precious things.
Mm-hmm.
Which one can I release to let room for the new one to come in? And that's the metaphor. So while we're holding, the new stuff can't come in so easily. And when we let go,
Ex-
another open flow is opening up
Exactly.
again. So that's like a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
And then the becoming, like you became the positive things that you were
Mm-hmm.
able to accept,
Mm-hmm.
allowed you to not only become empowered, but to become that.
Yes. Yeah.
So you kind of go through a new threshold of into a new mode of operating, going forwards now as a new evolved you. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a different energy,
It
right?
is. Yeah.
It's after the practice is a different energy before you
Yeah.
started the practice,
Yeah.
right? And I'll just add just really quickly because I know you want to keep this brief. I notice, as you're saying, as the energy moves and comes in and let it flow. I notice that when I'm working on the negative energy or the stuck energy or like the lower vibration, it's a downward type drain for me. I've really been able to identify like where that goes and how it flows. And when I'm taking in the positive pieces and I'm letting that flow, it's really a filling. and outward flowing.
Mm.
So you really create this like aura that just
Yeah.
kind of seeps out into,
Yeah.
just seeps out.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so
So,
let's come back to what seems to us more challenging to take in, the
okay.
criticism, the judgments.
Mhm.
And uh, so you've said there, I've managed to, let it flow, and it flows down and out. And then
Mhm.
did you do something else after that, or did you just leave it at that? Now it's no longer hurting. I'm feeling more relaxed about it. Or did you take it to another step?
Well, no, I was driving, so
Ah, totally different.
I just felt really clear,
Yeah.
and the angst had left. So I felt really content that at least I wasn't feeling that anxiousness,
You've
right?
gone from
So
a stress
I was
emotion
happy,
to a flow
right?
emotion, which is already
Yeah.
good. Okay, so, well, one of the things that we did in before the training we currently have for EMO to master emotional transformation and the self-regulation of your emotions, before we had this, we had a previously named training, which was called EMO Trans. It was like transforming emotions. That was the previous name to
Mm-hmm.
EMO Energy Emotion. And one of the popular exercises, which is very powerful learning experience, was handling insults and criticisms, and then another one for handling compliments and praise. And so that actually was quite, it created a little bit of consternation because you don't want to hurl
Mm-hmm.
insults and criticism at
No,
somebody.
no, no, no.
But yet,
Mm-hmm.
that's the energy they need to learn how to handle that, to become the person who can handle it, who is empowered and strengthened by it, and also who, in so doing, has developed self-assuredness that they knew who they
Mm-hmm.
are, independent of what somebody else might say about them. And that happened to me once, actually, where somebody had said something awful to me. Initially, I was shielded. It didn't touch me. Then one day I decided I should have a look at this and, see what's going on. So I opened myself up to feel it. Then I felt angry. First thing was I felt angry.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should say something like that or think that of me. Once I softened that, then behind it was the hurt. How could somebody
Mm-hmm.
even think that of me? I felt the hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I healed that and softened that, got into the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that what I was feeling was no longer the issue. Now I started to have a perspective on what's going on for them, that they might even be directing that at me. And I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
see that while I was still hurting for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact of taking it in, feeling it, helping it to flow, gave me the ability to see their point of view. And then I could actually say, oh, wow, I can see where they're coming from. And, so I then went further, like, okay, I want to know more about your point of view. So, and the more that I took it in, the more I transformed it in me, it actually developed in me this level of which I'd never felt before of self-assurance. In other words,
Mm-hmm.
somebody can say what they want about me, and I know who I am, independent of it. And that was such a gift. And it took that person insulting me for me to get the gift of the self-assurance. So
Right. Yeah.
what that taught me was
Mm-hmm.
there's something to receive in every energy when we can handle it, when we can handle it. So we have in this, so I've taken those popular exercises from the old course and I've put them in a workshop that's coming up to help people
Mm-hmm.
overcome their sensitivity and
Mm-hmm.
reactiveness, or even open up their shields and barriers that don't let it in, to let themselves feel, to use emo to transform that
Mm-hmm.
energy, to become empowered, to blossom as
Mm-hmm.
you do with the
Mm-hmm.
compliments and praise. You blossom
Mm-hmm.
and brighten, and you let it go. And then also with the criticisms and judgments, to
Mm-hmm.
help people grow in their sense of who they are, independent of what the world thinks. That was a really important
hmm
development
Which
for
is
me.
which is a beautiful gift to have, and it's a beautiful space to live,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
And I
so,
really love that. Yeah, I really love that you use the word self-assurance
mm,
versus like what would normally come to someone's mind might be resilience, like to build resilience. But resilience is a different energy. It
yes.
reminds me of that of like just pushing forward, pushing it away and showing up anyway. But this
Mhm.
really helps you to kind of go down into the layers and really look at it differently and create space to look at it
It
differently.
is actually becoming of another version of myself.
Right.
And so I want to, on that theme, I just want to come back to to tell a story
hmm
about the compliments, because I remember one great training, EMO training, where we were doing this exercise, and there was a girl there. She didn't believe she was
hmm
beautiful, and she didn't believe she was beautiful, and so we had people tell her that, and she was like, "Oh no, no, no," cringing about it. So eventually we got that smoothed, softened, and
hmm
flowed till she could accept it and take it in. And then what we did is we amplified the energy coming in. So we all lined up together, and
hmm
everybody told her she was beautiful. And that was like too much. She couldn't take that in. But we helped her to soften and flow it.
hmm
And so eventually she
hmm
transformed in front of our eyes. She just became beauty. She became not just beautiful, she
hmm
became beauty.
hmm
And she
hmm
went home from the workshop and she said 3 people on the way home commented to her about her beauty. And so that again is a like the becoming
hmm
place of the energy that you couldn't even take in before. And so when
Right.
you help people to get
hmm
to that becoming the thing that
hmm
spirit's recognizing in you,
hmm
taking it in, allowing it, accepting it,
hmm
moving into the becoming it, and then letting it
hmm
go so you don't even need it anymore. Like it's so done, you just are it.
Right.
So like so there's the
It's so
evolution.
done, like you did it. So done, you just are it.
Just
Yeah.
so
hmm
that's what we want to do
hmm
this next workshop, which is on the
hmm
last Friday of the month. So I thanks for coming to just have a little chat
You're
about
welcome.
it.
You're welcome.
And
I'm signed up for that workshop, by the way. I'll
I
be honest.
know. So I
Yeah.
should be looking. You can
hmm
be starting to think in
Yeah.
advance, oh, what do
Uh-huh.
I want to learn how to,
hmm
handle better and become?
hmm
And so that's what we're going to be doing in that workshop. So anyone who's sensitive, reactive, can't take people's
hmm
opinions about them, it's just
hmm
triggers them, or even you're not very good at receiving compliments and praise,
hmm
this is a great workshop to come and develop the
hmm
ability and learn emo, the art of being able to handle and transform the incoming energies, to go from a stress into a flow
hmm
and then into the becoming it, as the energy,
hmm
as we take it in, we take it on, and we
hmm
become something from it. Yeah.
I'm super excited for this one. I really am. I think I don't know many people who couldn't benefit by it, to be very honest. And not only just to be able to handle criticism or to be able to receive compliments, but also just as a really nice taster to get a feel for the power of EMO, right? Energy in
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah.
It's a great taster workshop just to like, what is all this about? Come find out, right?
Yeah.
Come experience it. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can't make it, I like to contact somebody like Carolyn for a session, an experience session, or myself, and we'll show you how it works
Mhm.
and maybe help you with whatever your emotional handling challenge is as well.
Right.
So that's great. Thank you so much. And there should be
Thank you.
somewhere
Mhm,
around here to find out about the workshop,
mhm,
for
mhm,
anybody who might be interested to join
mhm.
us. So have a great rest of the day, Carolyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You too, Sandra. Thank you. And I will see you soon.
Bye now. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Bye bye.